Good evening and welcome to our civics class tonight.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How is everybody?
Fine.
Fine.
Very good. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. We have a lot to cover tonight, and this is actually our last lesson before we do our testing. So this will be our last class, and we will be starting our testing on Wednesday. So I'm going to share some information with you here. Some announcements. So I think that you guys have been coming to all of my classes, I think. So, but in case you missed a class, make sure you go to my YouTube channel, Sandra DeSena, and watch any of the classes that you missed. The second announcement is that we have, I'm finding my highlighter here. On Tuesday, you can go to school and pick up the civics test. There will be an envelope with the test inside of it. Don't open it. Don't do it yet. Just pick it up. And we will use it when we do our testing. So you can go to school between 11 o'clock to 5:30 tomorrow, this Tuesday, and pick it up. Our job interview test, we're going to do that on Wednesday between 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock in Zoom. So you'll come to Zoom like at the regular time, and I'll have you wait in a breakout room, and I will go ahead and come to your room when it's your turn to do the job interview. If you would rather that I do the interview with you on the phone, then we can do it on the phone also. Zoom is a little bit better because we can see each other and we can make the eye contact, and that would be better. So hopefully everybody can do Zoom. And our job application test, we're going to do that all at the same time at school. So there will be on next Monday at 5 o'clock p.m., then there will be tables set up outside, and you'll sit at a table separately because of social distancing, right? And you will do that part of the test, the job application part of the test. And then you'll be all done. So those are our announcements. Are there any questions about the announcements?
Yes, I have a question, Chair. So on Wednesday, we start at 5 o'clock?
Yes, you'll come at 5 o'clock to Zoom, and there will probably be several people. So I'll have you wait in a breakout room, and I have to go one by one with each person. And when I get to you, then we'll do the interview. Then I'll do the interview with you. So it'll be sometime during that time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Because for some people, it might take longer than for other people. So that's why it's a little bit hard for me to set up a time. It would be great if I could say, Juan will be at 5 o'clock, Rosa will be at 5:15, Wilson will be at 5:30. But I think that it will be hard to do it that way because some people will answer the questions quickly and other people will take a long time. So it's a little bit hard for me to do it that way. So I'll just kind of do first come, first serve, and we'll get it done that way.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions? Okay, then we'll go ahead and get started. Today we're going to be talking about how to close the interview, how to close the job interview, and we're going to practice doing a job interview. So those are our two main things that we're going to be working on today. Let me see here, this is the beginning level. Okay, oops. So in order to close the interview, then you want to do several things. You want to ask questions that show that you're interested in the job. And it also can show the interviewer that you're knowledgeable about the industry, right? When you ask questions, then it makes you look more intelligent or like you know more about it. So it's good to ask questions. Not too many, just like ask one or two, and that's good. And it can also give you the opportunity to show why you are the perfect candidate for the job. So make sure you choose your questions carefully, and there's some that you never ask. I think we talked a little bit about this the last time, that you don't ask about salary, vacation, 401k plans, or anything else that makes it look like you're more interested in money than in a job. So you don't really want to talk about money. And you don't ask about the personal life of the interviewer. And don't ask any questions that show, that are more about you than about the job. You want your questions to really stick to the job itself. So like you wouldn't say something like, what is company policy on using the internet for personal reasons? Because then they're going to think, oh, well, he wants to use the internet and he's going to be on the internet all the time, right? So you don't want to ask a question that will reflect badly on you. There are many questions that can help you demonstrate your knowledge about the job, or your interest in the job. So like if the interviewer didn't tell you some information, like maybe the job responsibilities or the schedule or when it starts, then those are questions that you can ask. Those would be good questions. So you can ask some basic information about the job or about job duties, responsibilities, and about the company itself. But at the end of the interview, you should always ask something like, what are the next steps? Or when can I expect to hear from you? That way you kind of have closure from the interview and you will know what to expect. You want to make sure that you find out what the time frame is so that you know, well, okay, so I should hear back from them next week, or, oh, it might be a couple months before I hear anything, or, oh, he's going to call me tomorrow. So it's important that you find that out before you leave the interview so that you're not just kind of left hanging, not knowing what's going on. And make sure that you shake hands again and use that good body language. Smile, make eye contact, and be friendly. Those are all important things that you need to do. Okay, we're gonna skip this part. Okay, so here's some questions about what we can and cannot ask at a job interview. So we're gonna go through and take turns asking these, and everybody can answer either yes or no if these would be good questions or bad questions. So let me see. Rosa, do you want to ask the first question for us? I have it. Do you have it on the, do you see it on the screen? Number one?
Okay. What skills do you find most valuable in the employee?
Okay. What does everybody think? Would that be a yes or a no?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
a good question.
Yes.
Okay. Juan, can you ask question number 2 for us?
Yes. What is the peer worked like on this position?
Okay, is that good to ask what a typical work day is like?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Wilson, number 3.
Okay. How much vacation time do you offer?
Yes or no?
No.
No, we don't ask about
No.
vacation time. Very good. Marvin, number 4. Are you there, Marvin? Can you hear me? Can you do number 4?
Oh, how much money do you make?
Is that a good question to ask at a job interview?
Yes.
No.
No.
How
No.
much money?
No. No, we wouldn't ask about money at the job interview.
Oh.
That would, like, if and plus you're asking the other person. So you're asking the interviewer, how much money do you make? So that's
Yeah.
not a good question to ask. Okay, number 5, we're back to you, Rosa.
Okay. When will you make your decision? It's okay.
Yes, that's a good question to ask. Juan, can you ask the next one for us?
Do you provide medical insurance for family members? No.
Yes. No?
That's kind of a tough one. It sounds like,
This is a good question.
you think it's a good question?
I see.
Yes.
It's
This is
important to know, right? You need to know if you're going to be getting medical insurance or not. So I would agree. I would say, yeah, that's an appropriate question. Okay, how about the next one? Oh, sorry, it's, Juan, is it your turn?
Which duties would you like me to accomplish first? Yes.
What does everybody think? Was that a good question?
Yes.
Does the person already have the job? You haven't been hired yet, so I don't know if you would ask like what they want you to accomplish first. Well, maybe. I don't know that I would word it that way though. Maybe if you ask something like, what are some of the duties that you would like me to accomplish? Maybe that might be appropriate, but I don't know about saying which one's first. It sounds a little bit awkward like that. I'll leave that one open. How about number 8? Wilson?
How much money will I make? I think we don't supposed to ask that.
Right. We don't ask a question like that. Marvin?
Do you offer a full benefits package? Maybe yes.
Yeah, I think it's important to ask about benefits, right? Rosa?
What makes this job difficult? Not okay.
No, because you don't want to make it sound like it's a difficult job, right? You want to make it sound like it's easy for you to do. So we wouldn't ask that. How about number 11?
Do you provide training? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that could be, because maybe you're not familiar with how to do everything, so you want to ask. Marvin, how about the last one?
What will be my supervisor? I don't know. What will
What
be
do
my
you
Yes.
supervisor? Maybe.
Yes.
You think so?
I don't think so because you're not hired yet.
Yeah.
Right. If you get hired, then they will tell you who it is, right? But it doesn't really, it's not really a question that's appropriate because it's not one that really affects you. It's kind of,
No.
it's not really your business yet until you're hired, and then they would tell you. So yeah, it wouldn't be appropriate to ask that. Okay. So let me erase these here. And we're going to put this dialogue in the right order. It's all scrambled up. We have a dialogue between an interviewer and an interviewee. So let's see. We have the first one says, "Thank you for coming in. Do you have any questions for me?" What do you think should come next? How should the interviewee respond?
Yes, I would like to know who my supervisor will be.
Yeah, it looks like that would be the answer. Seems like a strange question to ask though about who the supervisor is, but Okay, so we'll put that as number 2. And what would be the answer? One of those responses is the answer.
Mhm.
I don't understand.
You report directly for me, to me.
Right. Yes, that would go next. And then what should the interviewee say next?
Very good. When can I expect to hear from you?
Yes. And what would what would the interviewer say?
Okay, should I contact you or will you contact me?
Is that what the interviewer would say? The candidate for the position, the interviewee, just said, when can I expect to hear from you? So what would the interviewer say?
Well, probably next Tuesday or
No.
Wednesday.
Right.
Yeah,
We'll put the 5 there.
yeah.
And then what should you say next?
Ahora sí viene.
Okay.
Okay, should I contact you or will you contact me?
Right. And then the interviewer would say,
I will contact you.
I will
yes.
contact you.
And then what do you say next?
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Maybe
Yes.
thank you. Mhm.
Uh-huh. And then what will the interviewer say?
It was nice to meet you.
Yes. And then you respond,
You're welcome. It was very nice to meet you. No?
well, we already said that. That's what the interviewer said. The interviewer said, you're welcome. It was very nice to meet you. So then you as the candidate respond with,
Mhm.
it was nice to meet you too, right?
Yeah.
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 Okay, and then you both say goodbye. So we'll put that as 11 and 12.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very good. So that would be good to practice just practice reading and going over that. Okay, so if you have time, then it would be, this is kind of a good way that you can practice being the job interviewer or being the job applicant. And it gives the different steps that you need to follow. And there's an example here with the bank teller so you can practice responding. But we're not going to have time to do that right now. But if you can do that with a classmate or with a family member or a friend, then that would be good practice. Now, something else I want to show you is that it's very appropriate and very good to, when you finish doing an interview, someone has their microphone on. Can you go ahead and mute your microphone if you're not speaking? Because there's kind of some feedback happening. I'm going to go ahead and turn off some microphones here. Okay, just because I was hearing a lot of noise. So when you finish an interview, it's important that you write a thank you letter afterwards and send it to the interviewer. Just kind of, thanking the person for interviewing you and for considering you for the position. We're not going to really go through this because we don't have time today, but just something to keep in mind, that it's always nice to give them to send a thank you, and that will kind of refresh their memory of you, because maybe they interviewed a lot of people, but not but a lot of people won't send a thank you letter. So it's another way to help them to remember you and maybe consider you for the job. So we're going to take a look at the study guide. This should be in your packet, kind of towards the back. We should be up there by now. And this is a great study guide to use to help you prepare for the test on Wednesday, the job interview, because I will be asking you these questions. And there's an example response, and then I'm going to give each of you an opportunity to give your response as well. So kind of think a little bit about how you would respond to these questions. And we'll go ahead and look at the first one. Can you tell me about yourself? Is there a volunteer to read this answer here? Would anybody like to answer that? Make sure you turn your mic on because I turned them off. Did everybody find it in the packet?
I am who's looking for job.
You're looking for it? Okay.
The bank teller. I am here about a bank teller. Yeah. My name is Alexander. I am from Peru. I want to be a bank teller. I am very organized and I am always on time. In Peru, I worked as a bank teller for 3 years. I know how to keep bank records, cash, and short checks. I also work well with people.
Very good. Thank you, Juan. So if we look at this person's response, we see that, first of all, the person told why they were there, right? Why they were there in the first place. They introduced themselves, gave their name, said where they were from, and then what they want to do. What is their objective? They also explained what their soft skills were about being organized and being on time. They talked about their work experience and their job skills, and also personal quality like working well with people. So these are all some great answers for this question about, can you tell me about yourself? I think that you guys had done this as one of your homework assignments about telling about yourself. Would anybody like to go ahead and answer this for us?
Me.
With your own answer? Okay, Rosa.
Okay. I am here about teacher ID. My name is Rosa Elvia Narvaez. I am from Mexico. I would like to work as teacher ID. My last job, I worked like teacher for 14 years. I like work with students. I am not responsible. I work well with other people. I graduate of high school, then graduate in the teacher's school as elementary teacher. So,
Very good. Nice job, Rosa. So you're a teacher, huh?
yeah.
Wow, that's wonderful. Did you teach children or adults?
Teenagers.
Oh, those are tough. Very good. Okay, so if you the job position would be for a teacher's aide. Teacher's aide is how you pronounce that.
Teacher's
Yeah.
aide.
Yeah, very good. You talked about the job, what your job was that you wanted, You introduced yourself, you gave your name, you told where you were from, you said what your objective was, you gave your work experience, and you talked about your education. So you included lots of things. That was very good. Would anybody else like to respond to that question? Don't worry, there's more questions. So if you don't respond to this one, you can respond to another one. Okay, we'll go ahead and go to the next one. So the next question is, what are your job skills? So who would like to read what it says here, this answer right here? Juan, would you like to read that?
Yes. I am shoemaker and I know how to repair it. Clean the shoes, use hand tools, and I can work with the people and I always follow instructions.
Oh, very good. So you gave your own response to that question about your job skills as a shoemaker. Very good. You did a good job. You told about your experience and you told about your skills that you have. Excellent answer. Would anybody else like to tell what their job skills are? No? Okay. Rosa?
Yes,
Okay.
I am a teacher. I help students with math, help with reading, keep records of children's progress, and I will follow directions.
Excellent. Very good. Okay, we'll go ahead and go to the next one now. Okay, so if the question is, do you have a job right now? Remember that we learned that there are a few different ways to answer. If the answer is yes, then you want to tell them where you work and what you do. And if the answer is no, then it's pretty straightforward. It's no, I'm not working now, or no, I don't have a job right now. So I'm going to ask each one of you this question. Do you have a job right now? And I'd like each of you to answer. If the answer is yes, then make sure you tell where you work and what you do. If it's no, then just respond appropriately with no. So I'm going to start from the other end this time. So Marvin, do you have a job right now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, you need to elaborate a little bit more. So yes, I have a job
Yes.
now, or
Yes.
yes, I'm working now.
Yes, I have a job now. I am working in the body shop.
And what do you do there?
The reconstruction, the paint reconstruction.
Okay, very good. Wilson, do you have a job right now?
He's in mood, teacher.
Wilson is mute.
Yes.
Oh.
Do you hear me?
Yep. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Sure, I have a job. I work in a company and the name is Joel. I'm a compounder. We make a lot of flavors for food. That's my job.
Excellent, very good. Juan, do you have a job right now?
No, I'm not. I'm not working right now, teacher.
Very good. Rosa, do you have a job right now?
No, I'm not working now.
Very good. Everybody gave great answers. Okay, let's look at the next one. Now, let's say you do have a job right now, but you want to leave your job and you want to get another job. So the interviewer would ask you, why do you want to leave your job? And remember, we said that you always want to be positive. Don't ever say anything negative. about the job that you're working at right now. You want to make sure that you are always positive. So you can say something like, I like my job, but, and tell why you want to leave. Or I really enjoy my job, but, and why is it that you want to leave? If you do not have a job right now, then they'll ask you, why did you leave your last job? And then you'll say, why? And again, you want to be very positive. So I'm going to give you a minute to think. And I'm going to ask each one of you either, why do you want to leave your job? Or why did you leave your last job? So I'm going to give you a minute. And I'm going to start back again with Marvin. Marvin, why do you want to leave your job?
I want to build my job and my money.
Okay, so the reason that you want to leave your job is to make more money, right?
Yes.
Okay, but we want to like phrase that in another way. So maybe you can say something like, I really like my job, but I want to gain more experience and make more money doing what I enjoy, or something like that. You want to, or I want a job with more responsibility, because usually with more responsibility, you make more money, right? So
Yes.
otherwise, because you have to be careful with your answer, so it doesn't sound like you're all about money and you just want money. So you want to kind of phrase your answer carefully. So you want to include some of those other things in your answer as well. Or even like this other response that said, I've gone as far as I could. I want a job with more responsibility. That's kind of like another way of saying that you'd like to make more money. Okay, very good. Wilson, why do you want to leave your job?
I really liked my last job, but I moved to another city.
Okay, good. Very good, Rosa. Wilson, how about you? Why do you want to leave your job?
I really like my job. I like my supervisor. I like what I do, but I like to find something else so I can learn something better or something good for me.
Good, that's a great answer. Juan, why did you leave your last job?
I had gone as far as I could.
Okay, very good. So you want kind of like Wilson's answer, that you wanted to learn more, or you wanted to grow more, right?
Yes, my dream is import shoes from Mexico and bring to United States and start a business in here.
Wonderful. So you want to have like an import-export business.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so let's look at the next one. The interviewer will also ask you, when can you start this job? So you need to give like a definite answer about when you can start. So I'm going to start with, on the other side this time, with Rosa. When can you start this job, Rosa?
Maybe I can start next week.
Well, you said maybe. Maybe you can start next week,
no.
or you can.
Sorry. I can start next week.
There you go. That's better. Okay. Juan, when can you start this job?
I can start right now.
Good. Okay. Wilson, when can you start this job?
As soon as possible. I really need to work.
Wonderful. Okay, Marvin, when can you start this job?
I can start working on Monday.
Great. All good answers. Okay, let's see the next one here. They'll also ask you what shift you can work. Some jobs have shifts, right? So you want to make sure that you sound flexible. So you don't just say, I can only work the night shift, or I can only work the day shift, unless it's true. But you want to, as much as you can, you want to try to be flexible. So you would say something like, I can work any shift, but I prefer, and tell the shift that you really want to work. Because usually the longer you stay with a company, then you'll get to choose more, like when you want to work. But at the beginning, when you first get hired, you kind of have to take what they give you, right? And then later, when you get more experience and more seniority in the job, they let you kind of choose. So you want to be very flexible at the beginning. Okay, so these are some, okay, so we also learned about how to respond with, tell me about your work experience. So, and we are kind of running a little bit out of times, but this is the chance that you have to explain more about your work experience and give more details. So this is a sample response here about how you can respond. So you need to think about how you will respond and talk about your work experience during the interview. But we won't go through that one right now. We also talked about answering this question about, tell me about your strengths. So this is where you're going to talk about basically all the good things about you and all the things that you can do well with at your job. So, and give examples. Remember, we talked about that. So you need to practice that answer as well. And we also talked about if they ask you about your weaknesses, that's not on here, but if they ask you about your weaknesses, then you also, can think of, one weakness to talk about. Towards the end of the interview, you're going to need to ask the interviewer a question. So these are some sample questions that you can ask. So I have these questions here, so I'll have each one of you ask one of these questions. So Marvin, which one would you like to ask?
What are the job duty?
Good. Okay, Wilson, which one do you want to ask?
Number 2. When will you make your decision?
Good. Juan, which one do you want to ask?
When can I expect to hear from you?
Yes. And Rosa?
What are the job duties?
Okay, good. Yep, those are all good questions to ask. So you also should have a practice test at the end. This is the one for intermediate and advanced levels. So you'll be able to, it'd be great for you to work with somebody and practice your answers, just like what we did. But one of you will be the interviewer and the other one will be the applicant, and practice your answers. So this is something for you to go over several times so that you're ready for the test on Wednesday, because the test will be in like almost exactly this format. So as long as you have your answers ready, then you will do very well on the test. And remember about having, you want to be careful with your body language, that you smile, that you make eye contact, that you have good posture, all the things that we've talked about. And this is an evaluation form. So you can maybe do it with a friend or with a family member, and they can evaluate you. Let's remember that you have to have a good handshake, right? And make eye contact, good body language, posture. You need to look confident with smiling and being friendly, speaking loudly, and giving clear, appropriate responses. So these are, you want to get good scores there. So those are all things that you will need to practice. And I want to just review with you the announcements in case you came in late and missed them. That all of our classes are on YouTube. Just go to my name on YouTube and you'll find them. You can pick up the test packet on Tuesday at school between 11 to 5:30. But don't open the envelope, don't write anything, don't start anything, just pick it up. And then on Wednesday, we'll do the job interview test in our Zoom classroom between 5 to 7 p.m. You just come and I'll put you in a room. And then when it's your turn, I will do the job interview with you. And it will be just like what we practiced, but it'll be like on the practice test, one question right after another. And then the job application test will be at school on Monday at 5 o'clock p.m. You'll bring your packet and your pen, and we'll go ahead and fill out the job application there at school. Okay, any other questions?
The only question I have for you, teacher, and you receive it, we are mails we sent to you?
Yes, I did.
Yes,
In fact, yes, I did receive them. I just haven't had a chance to really look at them yet, but I did receive them.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for sending them. Was there anything that you had a question about on it?
No question.
About your homework that you sent? Was there anything you wanted me to help you with or ask about? No? Okay. All right, well, if there's no questions, then we will go ahead and end our meeting.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
We'll see
teacher.
you on Wednesday.
Good night, everybody.
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday.